So a while ago, I made a film called The Kitchen Flea with my grandpa, and I put it out on YouTube, but I realized that it wasn't that great, and it had a lot of mistakes in it, and so I took it off YouTube. But instead of just deleting it and letting it go to waste, I thought I could use it as an opportunity to learn something. So here are some really important basic mistakes I made in this film that I'm going to point out to you guys so you don't make them as well. Alright, let's get right into it. Alright, pause right here. Okay, so in this very first scene, very first shot, right here, we have the major issue of lighting. Lighting is extremely important when you take a film to make a scene visually appealing for someone. Lighting is really helpful to make the scene look just like you want it to. And right here in this scene, as you can see, what I've done is I've positioned the camera in a really weird way. So I've tried to take like a downward angle facing up shot, like a cowboy shot, and I've clearly not pulled it off correctly. And another thing that's selling this shot as bad is that it's heavily backlit. But what I've done in the scene here is there's a lot of backlight from the sun and not enough light from the light I was using on set, and so the sun was overpowering, and you can see that my grandpa, who's acting, his face is sort of dark and all smudgy because of the light overflow.
Oh, ಅಡಿಗೆ ಭಟ್ರು ಸುಬಾ ಭಟ್ರ ನೀವು? ಬನ್ನಿ ಬನ್ನಿ ಒಳಗೆ.
And another thing to point out right here is camera motion is a bit jerky in that previous scene. So yeah, and if I pause right here, I'll go into camera motion a bit more in the next scene, but just there, it was a bit jerky, and I'll explain on that a bit later. But in this scene as well, you can see the lighting problem again. So there's the only light in this scene right now is from behind, from the entrance or something, and it's extremely dark on the foreground. But if we continue playing, even after the lights get turned on, it's sort of not that well lit per se, because the light that I used on set to light up my grandpa's face was a sort of yellow orange hue of light rather than a white light like this one right here. And the problem with that is it makes the video all sort of like vintage looking, and it looks really mushy, and my camera settings weren't right either. Camera settings are really important to make your lighting setup blend in with what the camera sees. So two of the main important camera settings that you should learn about is ISO and shutter speed. They're the main ones that impact the light intensity and what your image looks like. So I'm not exactly qualified to teach you about camera settings and stuff, but if you just YouTube how to master my camera or something like that, you can get some really good videos about that. So yeah. Alright, right here. Let me go back, and if we rewatch this right here, focus on the camera movements, and I'll explain. So as you can see in this next shot, as I pan right, it's really jerky movements, and it's not really that smooth. And I pan again, and this time it was a bit smoother, but it wasn't that amazing. And so the thing is, in terms of camera movement, the only solution I would say is just try and keep your hands steady and maybe loosen out your tripod a bit. There's always a knob that controls your panning and tilting and stuff. So if you loosen it a bit more, then it'll hopefully not obstruct that much. But other than that, there's not really much you can do. But yeah. Alright, another thing right here, as we're watching right now, and I'm not even going to pause because I don't need to, there's nothing really happening in the scene right now. Like, all that's happening, and it's been almost a minute into the film, and all that's happened is a guy walked in, he came into the kitchen, and he's pouring himself some coffee. Like, what? So what I'm trying to say is, your storyline is extremely important when it comes to making a film. If you write down a script and it's even a bit not amazing or anything like that, don't do it. As soon as you make one storyline or script, it doesn't mean you have to go with that one. Make multiple ones and choose which one you like best. And also get feedback from people you trust, like family or friends or anything like that, who can give you advice on what you should do with your script to make it better. Because they're the viewers and they're who you're making the movie for. So their advice and their tips are the most impactful. So I think so far in the entire film, it's been 1.5 minutes plus, and the only interesting thing that's happened so far is this scene right here, where the powder falls on his face, and that's it. Okay, so what's happening right now, this shot right here, if I go back just a bit, so from after this scene, it's called a oneer, and it's usually used in films and stuff, bigger films, and it's basically a single shot, a single scene that's longer than usual. So this next shot is like almost like 40 seconds long, and there's absolutely no cuts, and in this context it's not really that amazing, but in like action sequences, usually like in Avengers Endgame or a movie like that, the final fight scene is usually like a really long shot that lasts at least 45 seconds to a minute, and it's just all the fighting happening and the camera is just following all the way through, and it doesn't cut. So that's quite a useful shot that you could use in your films. Not that it was impactful in this scene particularly, but as a technique, it's good. So we'll watch it right now, right here. So after this is the oneer. So he goes, he gets his right front no cut still, keep going, still no cut, goes, keeps the right somewhere, camera's following the entire time, goes around, gets his bag, still no cut, and then stops, goes, gets coffee, still no cut, drinks his coffee, and then leaves the room, still no cut, and now it cuts, and then keep on going. And that's literally it. That's the entire film. That's it. Right. Okay. So let's just rewind. Right. Okay. So what's exactly wrong with this? What's so bad about this film? Well, first of all, storyline. The story of your film is absolutely the most important thing ever. As long as your story is good. Next, camera movements. Oh god, my camera movements were all over the place. Everything was really jerky. I didn't smooth anything out. Another tip to help with camera movements is usually in video editors like the one I use, which is DaVinci Resolve 18, and they usually have tools like Stabilize or something like that. I'm not sure what it is for Premiere Pro because I don't use it that much, but if you use Stabilize, it can like sort of reduce the shake in your video. I haven't really tried it, so I'm not sure how well it works, but I mean, it's worth a shot. And next is your camera settings. Learn your camera settings. All it takes is just a search on YouTube, do it, put in your camera, whatever model of camera you have, and it'll teach you how to use your camera, how to change your ISO and your shutter speed, and fix your exposure. Use your own lighting to balance things out, and it's really important to make your movie actually look interesting. Also, if you want to know how to make your own film like this without having to spend too much money, then you should watch my $0 filmmaking video that I made before this, and that would really help you with DIY hacks on how to reproduce some techniques that are used in studios for filming, without having to spend too much because you're broke, or you want to just save some money. So go check that out. And if you want to see an in-depth video of my behind the scenes on how I make a short film, precisely my next short film that will be coming out hopefully soon, then like, share, and subscribe for that, and I'll see you in a bit.